What is up, everybody?
JC, and
we're back with spiritual talk. It's been a long time since we did one of these, but we've got to go ahead and do a spiritual talk.
soothe the soul.
It really does, man, especially on this topic. This is the topic that I don't think gets talked about enough nowadays, because what are we taught by the mainstream media? Keep your religious point of views to yourself. Oh, but if you're an atheist, a Satanist, or a Muslim, go ahead and speak your point of view.
Yeah.
But if you're Christian, shut your dirty mouth. We don't want to hear it.
Check your white male privilege.
Exactly. But we got to let you guys know, dude, God is great.
Yeah.
And let's talk about why God is great. Okay, so the reason why God is great is, well, many of the reasons, but the first reason to pop in my mind is God always gives you direction in life.
Yep.
So even if, like, let's say something negative comes your way, like ever since I really got on good terms with God and I really just trusted in him to guide me in the right path, ever since that happened, whenever something bad, quote unquote, happens, I look at it and I don't overreact like I used to. I'm like, you know what? God is doing this to me for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to keep me safe from something. He's trying to protect me from something.
Well, and that's an interesting little side topic to go on too, is that a lot of people will like realize, okay, like I'm doing this stuff and like my life is misery. I'm in constant misery. Everything's going wrong. I think that's God's way of basically trying to tell you, hey, you're going down the wrong path.
Mm-hmm.
You need to change course. God will let you know. Believe me, God will let you know that you're going down the wrong path.
Yeah.
He'll check you.
Absolutely. And God has done that to both of us before. I mean, because we've admitted before that we have dabbled with black magic. You know, we've dabbled with the dark arts. And we've seen both sides of the coin. I can tell you, for one, I'd much rather be a warrior of the light than a warrior of the dark any day of the week. You know, because it's a different story when you're walking with angels as opposed to walking with demons. It's a different feeling. You don't feel weighed down. You don't feel depressed. You don't feel angry. You don't feel tired. You don't feel sad. You feel full of life. You feel powerful. When you walk with angels, it's a protection that you just can't beat.
Well, I think how does one go about getting that protection, getting that divine providence, as Glenn Beck once put it?
You have to invite angels into your life. Yeah. You have to allow your spirit guides to be a part of your life. You can't put them at bay. You need to let your angels know, walk with me. Thank you, Lord, for allowing these angels to walk with me and guide me in life. And if you have those guides, if you have the spirit guides, be thankful for them, because what they're doing is they're trying to guide you onto the right path and show you the right way. And there's so many times when you'll get that urge to do something that you know is bad. But the more that you resist to it, the more that voice of the angel will get stronger in your head and let you know that you don't need to be doing that.
That's a really good point too with the inner voice. Is, you know, a lot of people will misconstrue what that inner voice is. If you ever want to know what inner voice you're hearing, because one could be the devil, one could be God. If you ever want to know, it's always the one. God is always the one that will bring about will be about positivity. True. Like the devil's God's never gonna tell you to kill anyone, or rape anyone, or hurt anyone. That's the devil.
And honestly, the only time I ever get that feeling, JC, is when I see somebody that wears pro-satanic clothing, or they're saying something stupid like "Hail Satan." I'm
for them.
I'm a very nice, calm person, but the minute that I hear somebody say something like that, or sport something with like a pentagram or whatever on their shirt, a lot of times I'll treat them cruelly. You know, maybe that's something I need to work with. Maybe that's something where I need to spiritually grow, is I need to stop being cruel to people who are misled, because maybe at a different point in their life, they'll come to accept God in their life. Yeah. And maybe this is just a growing period for them. And maybe that's an area where I need to grow. But that is my first reaction when I see somebody who supports Satan, is anger. I get angry that they're supporting something that is pretty much the catalyst of why mainstream media is failing in every sector.
Yeah. I pray that they see God, that they get to know God on a on a spiritual level, and
Right.
and really just like, because I tell you, man, having Jesus, having that connection to Jesus, like it's so comforting. Like and just knowing that He'll always lead you down the right path. He'll never lead you astray.
And I'll always be there for you. And that's the thing too, is like, this is a common misperception that a man full of sin cannot repent and cannot turn back to God. You got to look at like this. Every soul that has ever been created is a creation of God. Why would God allow his creations to turn away permanently and not give them a chance at salvation, a chance to redeem themselves?
Well, and then give them free will, knowing that there's going to be learning along the way.
Exactly.
Well, and then who was Jesus' 12 disciples?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
prostitutes.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing too, is you got to look at the fact that it takes somebody who's been down a dark road to want to have that salvation, to want that light in their life. That's why you see so many inmates on death row when they repent to God and they truly accept God into their life. It's because they've led a life of misery, a life of shit, and they realize that they're going to expire. And what do they need to do? They need to make sure that they're right with God before they pass on. And this is something that has even happened to guys like Aleister Crowley and even Anton LaVey on their deathbeds, is that they were repenting or trying to repent to God because they knew what was happening. They saw those demons laughing at them saying, "You're coming with us," because they knew what was happening. They could see this. You invoke that type of negative energy, you're going to actively invite demons to participate in an active role in your life. And that's what those men did.
Yeah. So true.
And that's the thing too, is why you'll notice if you guys are ever experiencing negative energies around you, like you feel a negative energy around you, I want you to do me a favor. Say a couple things. Say, "In the name of my Father, Jesus Christ." Say Lord, say Jesus Christ, say God. Those words drive demons away. Also, another thing that drives demons away, harp music.
Yeah.
When I found that out, I was like, wow, okay. So maybe that's why you always see the angels with the harps in the picture. You know, it trips me out.
That and happy music too. Like it really, they seem to not like being around it.
Right.
And especially music with a 433 megahertz frequency.
Exactly, which was actually altered by a German scientist because he found out about how that actually be used to heal the human body.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So the Primetime Podcast was asking, you think it happened with Dahmer? Oh yeah, Dahmer was definitely under demonic influence when he went and raped and killed those men and ate them.
He just, because honestly, and that's really what evil is in my view. It's just
it's a parasite.
The inability to listen to God's wisdom, to not have that compass, or to ignore it.
Demons are spiritual parasites that take over the body and take over the mind and control the person and make them do things that they wouldn't normally do.
They blind your judgment, and
that's unfortunately how they are. Unfortunately, fortunately, that's one of the great things about Christ, though, is he never blinds your judgment. He shows you the light. He shows you the truth in every single circumstance. And the more that you trust in God, the more that he trusts in you to show you the truth of life.
Well, absolutely. And there's a lot of things that, like, the media will shove out at you. Oh, well, you need to have a big fancy car, and you need to make ass loads of money, and you need to have hot chicks, you need to have sex constantly. You know, they do that. They promote that. That's Satan's agenda to drive you away from God, because it's very easy to make you hate God and want to go with Satan if you want material things.
To be counterculture nowadays, you have to be in verse of everything that the mainstream media is promoting. That's really how it is. I mean, go out, start a family, go buy some farmland, go buy a house, be self-working, just be a self-sufficient man, because more than anything, what this government wants you to do is it wants you to rely on Big Brother for everything. So you can get used to that communist socialist lifestyle.
Well, and I would add on, like, I believe that materialism is the devil's fishing rod.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And
to reel you in.
That's why it's so promoted.
Which is why they don't want people to be spiritual, which is why they want to promote atheism.
True. So D Ultimo was wondering if we've seen Canadian Awareness's video, Religion versus Spirituality. I have not, but far too often the two get confused. While we are Christians, I have to say I am definitely a spiritually leaning side Christian. I lean more on the spiritual side than the religious side. And simply because of the fact that I think that when you get down to any religion, you have to really embrace the spiritual aspect. That's what's important about it.
Well, and this thing too is I feel like religion, it's more of a social thing than it is a spiritual thing.
Exactly.
It is. I mean, yeah, you can have spiritual experiences in social situations for sure. But I think that what's more important is to have that one-on-one spiritual relationship with God.
Absolutely.
That's more important than a social meetup like a religious group would be.
Right. Well, and that's where religion can play a point, is that you really get to meet other people who practice the same faith that you do, and there's that communion there. There's that brotherhood.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a plus to going and meeting people with the same religion.
For sure.
But at the same time, it's also very important to get that one-on-one relationship with God that you can only get through that intimate contact. That where you can't get it in a church. I'm sorry, but the real church, the real house of God, is inside. And it always will be. That's where you can truly get in touch with God, the one, and realize all that God has to offer you. And another great thing about God, too, is that God, he really forces negative emotions out of you. Like the more that you become reliant on God, you realize that your anger drops, your sadness drops, your depression drops, your anxiety drops, your fear drops. Like all these negative emotions that you would normally live with, just they fade away.
Anxiety too, and I'll tell you one of the things that I've been learning to do recently, and it helps. Like, and it's working. Like I'm seeing like miracles manifest even in my life. Where, if I have a problem, I say, you know what, God, this is too much for me. I'm putting this in your hands.
Right?
Can you please deal with this for me?
Absolutely. And God, trust me, he'll take the wheel.
Oh yeah,
he'll take the wheel, and he'll take care of that for you. He will. And another thing that really helps too is, guys, stay away from alcohol as much as you can. It's not a bad thing to drink, but if you become a regular drinker, what it actively does is it lowers your vibration. And when you have a lowered vibration, what that does is it makes it more susceptible for demons to be able to attack you and communicate with you and influence you. So the lower your vibration, the lower the frequency, the easier it is for demons to manifest in you and to take control of you. Trust me, I've seen it in my ex way too many times.
Well, but even for me, like, I'll be honest, I haven't had any alcohol since late December.
Same here. We both quit at the same time.
And I'll tell you, I've gotten, like, I don't remember really getting all that angry. Like, I used to get really fucking angry.
Yeah, you used to get pissed off, and that's one thing I noticed too, is like you're calm, dude. You're like old school calm JC.
Yeah.
And that's cool too, is the anger subsides from you, the urges to do stupid shit subsides. You aren't depressed, because a lot of times when you drink a depressant, what happens after a while, it starts to depress you.
Well, but what does alcohol do to the body? Poisons it.
That's what it is. It's actively poison.
The devil, I believe, Satan is the force of destruction. Whatever he wants you to like, it's going to destroy you.
Oh, and is legal for that matter too. And you got to love the fact too that it's called spirits when it actively lowers the vibration of your spirit. It all ties in. This is something that Satanists have used for many years to help with the rituals and lower the vibrations before they go and actually practice what they preach.
So they can bring the demons in.
Exactly.
They can channel those spirits or demons.
And pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they do. So yeah, try to stay away from alcohol. It's not the best for your body.
Stay away from anything that's going to hurt your body or destroy your health.
Yes, exactly. I mean, honestly, the cleanest lifestyle is the best lifestyle. I do smoke, but that's something that I think helps me with at least my spiritual practices, at least with meditation. It helps me out. I'm able to tap into my third eye real quick with it. So there's that. But
what helps me?
What's that?
Intermittent fasting.
Okay, so see, everybody has their own variation of tapping into the third eye, But
dude, I tell you, like when I'm 3-4 days into a fast, everything is clear,
right?
And I feel that connection with God stronger and stronger. Now, you don't want to fast for too long, but you can feel it.
You
feel this good.
This right here is the biggest epidemic right now because it's free and it's everywhere, and any age can access it. It is the biggest evil out there, and because of its accessibility, that's what makes it so dangerous.
And again, what does it do to relationships?
Destroys them. Because you get this unrealistic standard of how your loved one should look, and it's really down the wrong road. You don't want to go down that road. I also got to agree that you got to eat meat and drink water.
Yeah,
those are very good for you. Don't let them out of your diet.
It's like everything, and as we said, it's like everything. If you want to know something is of the devil, will it destroy you? Will it make you chemically dependent on something that will ruin your life? Can ruin your life? Yeah.
Well, you just got to know at this point, if it's coming from the big six media, they're lying to you. They are lying to you. Do the reverse of whatever they're saying, because they are the satanic mass media, and they will do whatever they can to poison your mind, body, and soul. Yeah. That is their mission. That's what they're out to do. Why do you think that woke agenda is being promoted so fucking much? Because it directly ties in with a lot of satanic beliefs. That's the reason why it's so heavily pushed. Mm-hmm. And it also relates to a lot of what communist dictators do over in their countries. Like one guy who's a North Korea defector was saying this woke stuff is exactly what they're doing over there.
Oh yeah,
same fucking thing.
Well, and the thing too, like to touch back on like the whole like beer and spirits thing. Think about it, like how when we were drinking alcohol, how it would make us angry and would bring that evil into our lives.
Right.
That's why they promote it so much, and they make it taboo and cool. You drink beer, you're cool. Right. That's why, because they want to manifest as much evil and as they possibly can, and to allow these demons to come from hell to be able to influence people.
Absolutely.
The lower your vibrational frequency is, the more likely you're going to be able to be influenced by these demons.
Right. And a lot of people, they don't even realize it until it's too late. That's a sad thing. Yeah. That's why it's just best to just keep God in your life at all times and trust in him.
And why they promote atheism is they want to completely, like, it's kind of like the thing of like, if you don't believe the devil doesn't exist, you know.
Well, what they're trying to make is they're trying to make it into this whole thing where, oh, if you actually believe in Jesus Christ, you must believe in the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus, this type of stupid shit. No. And Jesus Christ is an actual historical character that existed in time. There's so many different cultures that have talked about a Jesus Christ type character for it to be a fucking made up story. This is an actual historical figure that existed at one time. So you can't dispel anything in the Bible as being fake. Everything in the Bible is rooted in some sort of truth.
Right.
But hey, that's the type of bullshit that they'll have you believe. Why? Because if they destroy all religion and they make you believe that Satan doesn't exist, then you don't take him seriously.
Yep.
And that's why they want you to not pay attention to the symbols. There's symbols everywhere, especially with these artists doing the fucking 666 covering up one eye. They're doing that for a reason. They're letting you know who they work for.
Well, and they really don't want you to understand the spiritual effects of food.
Right.
Just the spiritual effects that certain junk foods will have on your body and on your spirit.
Very true. Well, especially like we were covering on the Last Question News, how Skittles will actively ruin your DNA.
Yeah.
It's crazy shit.
Yeah.
And forget about all the fucking dyes that they put in these drinks that are just ripping apart your brain.
Yeah, that's why people are so crazy nowadays.
True.
Look at the food they're eating.
So Vince McMahon was saying, what are all y'all's thoughts on the Sam Smith Grammys performance? I think it's evil, disgusting. I think it's depravity at its finest. I think it shows you that we're getting closer and closer to end times.
And go figure who sponsored it. Don't say their name, but
you know who it is. A very popular carrier of needles. And they're getting their shit promoted out there.
Rhymes with Lizer.
Yes. And yeah, Sam Smith is he's a deplorable human being. He's a pawn of the system. And this is a guy who started out when he won that Britain's Got Talent back in the day. He was a normal looking dude. Yeah. And because he wanted to fit in with an agenda and be mass promoted, he decided to get the Caitlyn Jenner treatment and pretty much go full on trans. He hasn't cut the dick off yet, but he's one step away.
He's non-binary.
Yes, he's getting there. But that's the thing. Like Jermaine said, they're not hiding it anymore. They're out in the open about the satanic shit, and they're going to shove it in your fucking face. And if you dare question it, what are you? You're misogynistic and ageist, like Madonna said. Because people were calling her the fucking cat face lady. People were saying she looks like the Saw fucking puppet. You know, it's like, well, yeah, because you're
on, yeah.
Oh, the camera greatly distorted my ugly, twisted face. Sure, it did.
No, the surgeon did.
Yeah, exactly. Just put responsibility where it belongs, you know?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where when you really get to realize the symbols out there, you know that this evil is anywhere. It's anywhere and everywhere. They'll put it in any type of publication, any type of media they can. Just guys, get familiar with the symbols, get familiar with what's going on around you, and realize that if you haven't gotten right with God, you got to get right with God.
It's true.
So let's talk about what Heather Marie said. She said, God is nothing more than a concept, an ideology created by man to indoctrinate and brainwash for personal gain and conquest. I look at it as a cop-out. That's just me, though. So Heather Marie has brought up something of discussion. JC, let's go ahead and discuss it.
Sure.
My personal opinion, you are allowed to have that opinion about God just being a concept. I personally feel that God is a true spiritual power that has taken place in my life and truly exists because I have been near death over 5 times by now, and each time I've been saved.
And the way I look at it too is
Hold up, JC. I've felt God's presence in my life. I felt something tug me out of situations where I could have died when there was nothing there. So if it's not God protecting me, then there's some alien beings or something out there protecting me because something wants to keep me alive. And this goes beyond some human force that I can't see. No, this is something supernatural. So for me, it's practice what I preach. I've lived through this stuff. I've experienced it, and I know that God is real. For you, I hope that you have an experience where you realize that God is real. I hope it's not as tragic and traumatic as mine. I hope that you are able to learn about God's power through a more peaceful way. But yeah, through me, it took some trauma. So yeah, just personal experience, Heather. That's what it's all about.
and I would say, like, at the very end of the day, it helps us be better people.
And why would, you know what, let's just close. So God does not hate gay people because you got to look at it this way. Why would God make gay animals in the animal kingdom? He obviously does not hate gay people. And if anything, it's just they're born that way. It's natural. It really is. It's a natural thing. Do I personally believe in people having gay sex? It's not what I would believe in, but to each their own. If you're a consenting adult, you can do whatever the fuck you want with your body and whoever you want with whatever partner you want. My big thing is when you get kids involved with it.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the way I feel too about gay marriage. It's like, whatever, live and let live. I don't care what you do in your bedroom or your religion. Just I don't care.
Yeah,
it's not my fight. It's like, and that's the thing too, is like religion. It does bring out bad in people.
True.
We got to be real. I mean, it does. Like the Westboro Baptist Church, that's not of God. No. Because like when you have that much hate in your heart, and you can say, "Oh, we don't hate them. God hates them." No, there's a bit of hate in your heart there, sweetheart. And, and so I think that they give religion a bad name. They give spirituality a bad name.
Oh, and trust me, that's the first thing that the woke left will point out is they'll point out how crazy these gun-toting Christians are and how they want to take away all our rights. There's shit like this. So Destructor was saying, God is not human for me. It's a creator that we can't understand until after the afterlife. I will agree with you upon it being a creator and him not being human. But I will say that we can understand God's way through how he works in our life. Once you begin to see God work in your life, you start to see the synchronicities. You can see how God is taking a part in your life. You will never fully understand all of God, but at least you will understand how God works for you and will work in your life.
Well, and then just to kind of go back to the whole, like, people who aren't religious or people who don't believe in God, I'd say, at the end of the day, I still wish you well.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when I pray for you, like I want good things to happen to you.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like I've noticed as I get older, I don't hold on to beefs. Like people that I would like spend months and months hating, I forgive them and let them go. I just forgive them, let them go, and I go about my day. Because it's way too much energy to hold on to hate for somebody. At the end of the day, you just got to forgive that person and keep on fucking going and doing what you do.
Absolutely.
And don't let anything ruin you, man. Don't let anyone ruin you.
And it's easy to call yourself a Christian. I think we have the vast majority of Christians, they're Christians in name only.
Right.
Like the religious Christians, they're not spiritual Christians like we are.
Well, what they have is they have this idea that they can say whatever the fuck they want and do whatever the fuck they want. And come Sunday, you're forgiven. You can go out drinking. You could cheat on your fucking girlfriend. Hey, Sunday, you're forgiven.
You can go home and beat your wife, but it's okay.
You're forgiven.
Yeah. No.
So Heather was saying, thank you for sharing. I would never want to discourage anyone to believe in anything. If the idea of God makes you feel better, then more power in it. I have seen religion bring the worst out of people, and it can.
Yeah.
I cannot deny, Heather, that religion does bring the worst out of people. That's why I've always referred to myself as more spiritual than religious. I cannot remember the last time I actually went to a physical brick and mortar church.
Same here.
I've done online church recently, but it's one of those things where I don't feel like I have to go to a church to talk to God. I can do that at any time.
Oh yeah.
I don't feel like I have to go that extra mile. Yeah, it's good for like meeting fellow Christians and talking to people and the community aspect. But for me, Spiritual is, it's almost like working out. I like being by myself so I can focus on it.
Mhm.
That's the biggest thing. Like if I'm trying to really focus on something, whether it be my mind, body, and soul, I have to do it by myself, and I have to truly focus on it. It's a lot of it's my ADD, but a lot of it's I like that solitude, so I can just devote all my attention to whatever it is I'm focusing on.
And then, to quote what wrestler R-Truth said about religion or about church,
Mm-hmm.
what do you say?
Well, he was saying something about that's where the demons hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying that to Nia Jax on Total Bellas.
Yep.
So, D. Ultimo was saying Jesus Christ with the 12 disciples didn't create Christianity when they were alive or even wrote the entire Bible. Well, the concept of Christ is something that has existed way before Jesus Christ. Like I've said, there's been a lot of characters like
But
Jesus Christ.
It's that he would accept people like that
Exactly
into his flock.
It
Doesn't matter who you are.
It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody can be redeemed.
Yeah.
And that is the one story that I think gets sidelined by most modern Christianity, and especially by these woke leftists trying to paint a narrative, is that nobody can be redeemed. A true Christian will go to lengths to redeem anybody. Why? Because they realize that soul is worth saving. It's as simple as that.
It's true.
There is not a single soul out there that is not worth fighting for. And from everything I've heard about afterlife stories, what happens with these people that go and kill people? They're given a chance to redeem themselves in another life and learn about their past mistakes and keep on trying this until they get it. That's what this is. It's Logan Paul was right in a lot of ways when he said that life is like a video game. You're constantly looking to level up. You get as high as you can in this life. Hopefully you level up to the 4th dimension. Then you go to the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and keep on ascending until you finally reunite with God.
The final boss.
It's all a soul mission.
Yeah.
You got to keep on ascending, and it goes in different stages too. I mean, we'll talk about that one of these days, but it really is fascinating. So Neo was wondering what other religious beliefs such as Buddhism, Muslim, etc. I'm just curious. They're obviously rooted in truth. I mean, I definitely think that the scholastic works of the Buddhists and the Muslims, they share some truths. Like in the Quran, there's a lot of truths. At the same time, though, I think that, I shouldn't say I think I have an opinion that I think Muslims may pray to a jinn. It's a possibility.
In other words, the Mecca.
The Mecca.
The stones from paradise.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they may pray to a jinn. I'm not confirmed with that. But then again, you also have to think about what the Buddhists pray to. And you think about like beings like Shiva the Destroyer and how prominently they're used in places like CERN, which are it's in this satanic capital of Geneva, Switzerland. So you think about shit like that and you're like, were these people worshiping demons?
Yeah.
It's something to consider, So what is it? The truth was saying, I never hated Christianity or any religions. I just hate people's versions of religions. Some people bastardizes, if that's a word, religions. True. Very true, man. There's no doubt about that. A lot of these religions, they get bastardized by a couple fucking crazy assholes. Mm-hmm. That's all it takes. And even with the televangelists too, God, how they make Christians look so fucking bad.
Oh yeah, a lot of them are going to hell.
Fuck you, Joel Osteen.
Kenneth Copeland.
Yep. They're evil. Yeah. So Heather Marie was saying, my mother's an extreme Christian. She takes the word of Bible as literal gospel. She sat me down at 4 years of age and forced her beliefs down my throat. She demonized me for even questioning God. See, and that's the thing too, is people will have an unfair learning experience that will change the perception on God. And I think that sucks, man. I think anybody, if you're going to find God, you got to find it on your own. Maybe getting nudged in the right way by somebody, but you have to go and find God on your own through trial and tribulation.
And that's one of the things that I would tell the parents is don't beat them over the head with it.
Right.
Let them figure it out.
Right.
And I've always been against that because it really does turn a lot of people away from Christianity and away from God.
Absolutely.
It does.
So Soda Pop Noob was saying God will only destroy your plans when he sees your plans are going to destroy you. Amen, dude.
That's so true.
He is there to protect us. Whenever things are done in his timing, things will go smoothly in life. I couldn't agree with you more, man. That's what it really is all about, is God always has the best intentions for you. And even if it looks like on paper that something isn't working out your way, like all your friends are like, nah, dude, you fucked up. That was the wrong choice. Just know that God made that choice for you. God made you take that choice because he knows what's safe for you. Yeah. He knows what's best for you. And you just got to trust in that. I mean, it's like, especially when you get like an opportunity, you got to realize what's the evil side of that opportunity. What's the good side? What's the bad side? You really got to start weighing things out. And
trusting that God voice.
Trusting that inner voice, exactly. Yeah. Destructor was saying, do you need to read the Bible? Not necessarily, no. To be a good Christian, I've always did it like, live your life by the golden rule. Don't do unto others that you wouldn't have done to you. It's as simple as that. If you live by that one rule, you will notice a great quality on your life. And you know what? Don't forget to be a kind person. You don't have to be nice. Just be kind.
Well, the Bible is just it's a book of stories.
Right.
What really matters is that spiritual connection to God.
That's the best thing you can get out of Christianity.
That is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of Christians, they lose sight of that. They hyper obsess on what did the Bible say, rather than relying upon, okay, what did Jesus tell me?
Right.
You know?
And Saminator was wondering, have you ever watched Asahura, an Islamic ceremony? It's quite terrifying. I have not, but it wouldn't surprise me that they have a terrifying ceremony. I couldn't even imagine how crazy that would be. But one thing you got to realize is that God is always looking out for you. He always has your best intentions in store, and he will never falter you. He will never lead you down the wrong path. He never will. Everything that he does for you, it might seem like a predetermined fate, but it's the best predetermined fate that you can possibly have, because what he is doing is he's trying to guide you down the path where you learn the most. That is what life is all about. Somebody asked me, what's the meaning of life? It's the 3 L's. You're here to live, love, and learn. Yeah. Those 3 things are the reason why your spirit is going through this trial, through this fucking Neo-like simulation right now. The whole reason why you're in this matrix and going through this shit right now is you're here to live, love, and learn. Those 3 L's are going to guide you to where you need to be in the next life and the next life after that. And that's just my personal opinion about reincarnation. I believe that God keeps on reincarnating your soul. That's why a lot of people, they'll go to psychics and they say, you got an old soul. You've been here a couple times. I've already got a psychic reading, told me I'm an old soul. My brother's an old soul. We've been on this earth a couple rounds, man. And it's my firm belief that with each time that we're here, God gives us new lessons to learn. There's never enough lessons to learn. Even when I'm an old fucking 80 years old, I'm still going to be learning. That's part of the journey of life. Just getting as much knowledge as you can and getting as close with God as you possibly can. Because at the end of the day, all those toys, all those material possessions that the media is telling you to go out and get, you can't take them with you.
No.
But the thing you can take with you is your soul.
No.
That's there with you for eternity. And all the friendships and all the people you meet, all the loves you meet, those are coming with you too. Why? Because you're all one. You're all connected to God. And that's what I want people to realize at the end of the day. Even if you don't believe in God, you are part of God. We are all the one. It's as simple as that. So, God, that's, I guess that's about it. Right, JC?
Yep.
All right. So thank you for joining us for the spiritual talk on Super Bowl Sunday. We're making this a Sunday about Christ, darn it.
Yeah.
It's about God and how awesome he is.
He's the real MVP.
That's right. NC.
JCN.
Peace out.